Hi everyone. I just want to introduce Amanda here, who's doing some amazing work. Some of you highlight her on the Causevest Network for support. So we at Causevest have been supporting her work.
Yeah, thank you, Causevest. By supporting Causevest, you can support activists like me. I'm a self-proclaimed activist that's working online for causes mostly for marginalized and underrepresented people. At the moment, I'm trying to help escape people from Ukraine, mostly focusing on people of color and LGBTQ plus people.
Today, we're going to ask Amanda a few questions. So firstly, obviously, who are you in your own words and where are you from? I think a lot of people know that.
I'm Polish. I was born, raised, I live in Poland, but 5 years ago I moved to Sweden. And yeah, that's shortly about me.
Okay, so in regards to, this is your first time being an activist. This is your first time like dealing with the cause.
No.
How much experience? Okay, so I've got experience. I've done this before. It's not my first radio. So like, how much experience have you got doing this, and what have you done before?
Okay, so like I started at a very young age, being a teenager in Poland, basically as a queer teenager. That wasn't the best thing to do. So back then I already started like my activist work for LGBTQ people and for animals. And it spread over the years. I was vice president of Geek Girls Carrots. This is an organization to attract women into IT in Poland. And when I moved to Sweden, I put all my attention to basically helping newcomers, like mostly LGBT refugees, but not only, to learn how to program, how to find a job at the market here in Sweden, because quite often people coming there from, because now we have war in Ukraine, but I mean, people were coming from Syria, from Iraq, or Afghanistan to Sweden, and often they were like highly educated, having like a lot of skills, but they weren't really used here in Sweden. So that was my focus. So I was like being in contact with some people that also wanted to escape war zones in East. In Western Asia. So basically that was my recent years of working. And here the situation with the war in Ukraine started pretty spontaneously, because my colleague is Nigerian, used to live in Ukraine. So I was watching the Twitter, basically streaming war in the middle of the night. I wait like 3 hours and call him like, "Hi, Emmanuel, if you need any help, I can send my dad for you." And it's like, "Oh, Amy, I see you're sick. It's so kind of you to telling me, have a good day." And 15 minutes later, it's like, "I didn't know that it's war when you wrote to me."
Since you brought up racial bias, let's just be brutally honest, right? What levels of racial bias were there? Obviously, I obviously found you from some of the videos that I saw where people were being pushed off and swore at and things like that. Like, how bad was it essentially, from understanding?
I just also now I can say as much as I have from people that I've been in direct contact, because through the whole process I've been accused of spreading Russian propaganda, which is fun, because my whole life I actually spent hating Putin as a person that is on many levels rejected by him. The racial bias, to understand it, we have to understand that it's not really related to the war, it's related to the area.
Any type of discrimination in today's day and age, just like this type of war, is wrong. And you stood up against it. But I did notice, for example, someone's going to ask later, but since you brought it up, you had, obviously, like you said, you yourself have been attacked, by highlighting these issues and highlighting this discrimination. You were personally attacked. So what did that involve in terms of, it was just slander online, or people, like you said, accusing you of being a Putin supporter? Is it just kind of along those lines?
It's been different. Of course, the most basic hates were I'm a Putin propaganda and stuff. But also I was accused by people I know from from more official connections. I wouldn't say my friends, but people I work with and stuff. I was accused by CEOs of other companies.
In your mind, you just want to deal with the current situation. You know, the issue is there is racism there. We're not accusing people, calling people names right now. We just need to get those people from that place to another place safely, and that's a priority. And it's like that. A lot of people talk about doing good things, but only a certain number of people act upon it. What makes you act?
It's a good question. I'm trying. I was diagnosed 3 years ago as being a person in autistic spectrum. So I just think I'm doing very well in crisis. I'm not actually emotional. I'm not crying over the situation. I don't really have time to get what's happening. Usually I get actually a bit more emotional before I go to bed when I'm super exhausted and tired, and I'm seeing this video is so sad, such a nice video about the situation. It's this is what I was doing the whole day. I don't really connect what I'm doing, and especially that I haven't heard of idea like that, and I kind of behave like this idea myself, since I obviously live in Sweden, have a different salary, higher salary than a lot of people that I'm right now working in Poland. And for example, I can just easily send them money for a ticket to go to the border because they live nearby, and I just that we can figure it out the way that people locally can be supported, and the money doesn't have to be an issue how many people you can help. So I think this is a great idea, and I'm really excited to see how it's gonna grow.